confuses me, to be honest with you. I mean, when I was coming up, it was whoever was more popular and whoever had more eyeballs on him. I was on that guy. He's decent. I don't know where he's been for the last couple of years. I don't know if his skills have fallen off. I don't know. Like the last Olympics was kind of weird. Watching him in Taekwondo. Keep your mind to where you need it to go, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, Sometimes you know you can do something, and you know you can move this way, but your body just won't.
All right, guys, this is Crazy Kev here, and I'm here with Kevin Lee. Kevin, how we doing, my man?
I'm good. Never
That's
better.
awesome. So, Kevin, man, it's been a little bit since we've seen you in the cage. I mean, what have you kind of been up to, and how's everything been with you?
I've been healing from the injuries. I had surgery about a year ago now, so I'm just getting to the point where I'm getting past that, right? So, for about the last 2 years, I've been injured, and now I'm finally healing up from them, and I'm hoping to return to my old form.
Very nice, and we're definitely looking forward to seeing you return in that old form. And when it comes
Yep.
to returning to old form, I mean, what organization do you maybe plan to try to jump back into when you get the call?
Yeah, it's a good question, right? Right now it's kind of up in the air. I'm not gonna lie to you. It seems like a lot of the big organizations are kind of turning their back on me, which is unfortunate in this space, right? It's unfortunate in MMA, especially when people know me as the guy to go out there and put it all on the line and go into these hostile territories, fight these undefeated dudes, and put on great fights and make a lot of fans. It's unfortunate that the sport kind of turns their back on the veterans. They say you only as good as your last fight, blah blah blah, whatever that means. Um, and I mean, I guess it's kind of true. So people saw my last fight, and they kind of leaving it at that. They're not really looking at my complete body of work. I've been in the UFC since I was 21 years old. It's been 11 years. So I mean, I feel like that alone shows you what I'm capable of. And at 31 now, um, I can still regain all of what I lost plus more.
Yeah, no, that definitely makes sense, man. And when it comes to these promotions, I mean, are they worried at all about like your injury history at all? Have they talked to you at all about that?
I mean, they say they don't give you a straight up answer, right? But in my mind, yeah, right. I can see why they would say that, why they would be worried about the injury history. But it's pretty clear that I had surgery last year. Before that, everybody saw me get my knee torn apart in the Eagle FC fight against Diego Sanchez. That performance was because of the knee. They saw the first kick, and I even said it on the mic right afterwards. I went into the last fight without ever getting the surgery done. So once I got the surgery done, it should be pretty clear that it's good. But if they want me to go out there and prove it against anybody, I'm willing to do that. Like that's the difference. I'm willing to go out and put this body on the line for whatever it is that they say they want to do is I'm open to do that. Why they want to invest in guys who aren't proven, I don't know that part don't make much sense to me. You would think you would put it in somebody who's already been there and done that, but we'll see.
Yeah, yeah, no, I definitely hear you there. And when it comes to your fighting career, man, I mean, when you do step back in the cage, man, what weight class can we maybe see competing at?
Well, 155 for sure.
Nice,
155,
nice.
yeah, yeah. Especially in the bigger promotions, I'm going back down to 155. Really, one of the big motivations behind me going up to 170 was because of the injuries and not being able to run and keep the weight off. So yeah, it's 155 from here on out.
Very nice. No, I'm definitely looking forward to see you back at 155, no doubt about it. And if you could obviously pick out your opponent, I mean, do you have any names on maybe who you'd want to see in the future?
I mean, not really. Not a lot of these guys are exciting, especially at 155. Like it kind of got overshadowed by 170 and a lot of these other divisions now. There's not a lot of guys that are real exciting at that weight class. To be honest with you, if anything, if you ask me that, I'm looking at the top of the division, right? I'm gonna fight the very best guys. But realistically, will I take one or two warm up fights to get there? Yeah, of course. Do I have my name? Do I have a name floating around on who that'll be? I'm willing to take whoever is open for the fight. Um, and why some of these guys who don't have any name value, they aren't very popular. You don't really ever hear them put my name into their mouth. Uh, Confuses me, to be honest with you. I mean, when I was coming up, it was whoever was more popular and whoever had more eyeballs on them. I was on that guy, or whoever had been known in the sport. I was going after that guy. So why more people aren't? I don't know. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, no, I hear you there because you're definitely a big name. And speaking about that, I mean, obviously, you're a beast in MMA, but I mean, would you ever like consider maybe doing like a warm up fight for maybe like one of these celebrity boxing matches, or maybe doing something like that, sort of like Jake Paul style matches?
Nah,
No,
nah,
okay,
nah. I mean, nah, I'm still a competitor at the end of the day,
right,
and I still like the real shit. I may consider like doing a bare knuckle fight,
okay,
like a bare knuckle MMA. Maybe not bare knuckle boxing. I'm not too. Yeah, maybe I would do a bare knuckle boxing, depending on if it's the right opponent. You know, I'm not into these gimmicky fights and fight Dylan Dennis or something like that. I'm not really. I ain't really too it. I'm not that far along in my career. If I was 41, then we could be talking about that. But I'm still very competitive, so that's what I'm looking at.
yeah, no, I hear you there. You definitely have a lot of life left in you. And speaking about Dylan Dennis, I mean, you used to train with him a little bit, right? I mean, talk us a little bit
Yeah,
more about that.
I used to throw him around a lot,
Yeah,
So he's decent. I don't know where he's been for the last couple of years. I don't know if his skills have fallen off. They might have fallen off. I don't know. So I am interested in doing competitive jujitsu. I will do more jujitsu. I saw CGI the last week, and that was probably the best jujitsu event that I've seen. And that kind of gave me a little bit of oomph to it. Like people walk, it had that energy of okay, this is a real competition. This is a real opportunity here. So I would be interested in doing competitive jujitsu if the right opportunity arises,
yeah.
especially something like CGI.
That would be fun. I definitely wouldn't mind seeing you there, man. And when it comes to fighting, I mean, do you watch fighting at all? And if so, who's maybe some of your favorite fighters that you like to watch?
We can do me and Dylan CGI next year. Me and Dylan Dennis. That
Okay.
seems like you getting the wheels turning. That seemed like it'd be a good fight. So yeah, I might have to issue an official challenge to Dylan. As far as me watching fights, of course I still watch fights. Um, but I'm not as when I used to watch them, I used to be like fans of guys, right? Like I used to love Jose Aldo, and I would get nervous and excited to see him fight. When it didn't matter who he stepped in there with, I was kind of like a little nervous about it, right? I haven't felt that energy about another fighter really in the last 7 8 years, and maybe it's just because I'm too attached to it, right? I know too many people, and I'm too far into it to where I'm not. None of these guys are interesting. It's either that or it's just getting kind of, I don't know. I mean, I feel like I'm talking shit on the sport now. But yeah, it's too many. It's too many just nameless, faceless fighter A, fighter B that I don't give two shits about. So it's not that many. It's not that many people that get me excited about it now.
Okay, okay, fair enough. And obviously with you fighting Eagle FC, I mean, you said Khabib had some holes in his games and you ended up meeting him. I mean, what was that kind of like to actually meet him in person?
Yeah, it was cool. It was cool. I mean, Khabib is he's got a lot of energy around him. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, it's cool. He don't speak too much English. He don't speak too much in general. So you don't really get too much out of it. But it was cool to kind of bury the hatchet. It was cool to kind of and to kind of move on from that chapter and to know that I just not gonna be able to compete it against this guy. And sometimes that's life, right? Like life happens. Shit don't always go the way that you think it was gonna go.
Yeah, no, I definitely hear you there when it comes to that stuff. And with Eagle FC, I mean, weren't they paying you in like cryptocurrency and stuff too with everything with that?
Yeah, as far as that, I don't know. I can't get too much into it.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't get too much into it. I don't know what I'm allowed to say and what I'm not allowed to say. You feel me? Like, yeah, I can't. I
Fair enough.
don't know too. I don't know too much about none of that. I let my management. I let my people handle that. I'm with Ali Abalaziz right now, who is a great manager, and I'm gonna leave it at that.
Okay, okay, fair enough. I hear you when it comes to that stuff. And speaking of money, man, I mean, there was a tweet that's been going viral. You were asking for like 10 grand for your account. I mean, were anybody
Yeah.
hitting you up about that?
Uh, Not really. Nobody that was serious, and I'm serious about that. I'll let that bitch go for $10,000. Um, yeah, the sport kind of drains you. So, I'm not, even hiding it no more. I'm not even really embarrassed about it or whatever. Like it's a rough way to make a living, fighting people, especially once the injuries start to line up. We aren't all John Jones and can't sit for 3 years without taking a fight. So yeah, 10 G's, you can have the Twitter,
I love it.
or
I
or
love
you
it.
can teach me how to use the Twitter. Somebody can teach me how to make some money off the motherfucker, and then we can get something going.
Well, like I said, you just stole my next question. I was gonna say we were talking a little bit before. You say you like my work. I mean, why don't you just have like someone like me just try to hook you up and try to start building your name even more off that Twitter? I'll help you out.
Yeah, I mean, people say just create content, right? I
Yeah,
mean, I get that part. Just keep creating content. Um, it's just hard for me to film, I guess. It's hard for
yeah,
me to set up the camera. It's hard, that I don't know. Maybe that part, maybe I'm just being maybe that's just on me. Maybe all I just need to do is film because I'm training every day. I'm putting in great rounds every day. It's something that I know for sure people want to see. I think right now I'm setting up an instructional, which I think could give some value to people. Um, I've got a lot of knowledge over all of these fights. Not many people that fought guys like Edson Barboza, fought Rafael Dos Anjos, Ally Aquinta, fought Tony Ferguson. I fought a lot of very tough top level talent. And with that, I've learned a lot of experience, what techniques work, what don't work. And a lot of people are interested in fighting these days. When you got Elon Musk talking about fighting um, the other guy, Mark Zuckerberg, that means a lot of people in this world are interested in fighting. So I think I could offer a lot of value right there. So we're gonna put together an instructional and get that out to the masses.
yeah. I think an instructional will definitely be awesome. I think a lot of people are definitely gonna jump on that. I definitely think that's a solid idea. And another thing I was curious about as well too. I mean, when you fought Tony Ferguson, like you mentioned, you had that staph infection and stuff. I mean, how bad do you think that really affected you in your fights? And what do you think about all these different fighters nowadays after they lose? They're like, oh, I had staph.
Yeah, I think it's a much bigger issue than we make it out to be. Um, Crazy. This morning I was just talking with a guy, and he's from Thailand, and he's got this crazy cut on his foot. And I'm like telling him like, bro, wrap it up, so that it'll heal and you don't get an infection. And he's like, yeah, whatever. No, I'm just gonna keep going. You're like, you're fucking bleeding all over the mat, bro. Like this is gross. I mean, the mats are clean ish, but you just leaving it up to the chances. I think stuff like staff definitely affects you a lot more than what you would think. And how I know for sure, um, the staff that you're talking about on my chest, right? With the Tony Ferguson fight, it went away after the fight, but it would come back periodically. And it would come back when I was either very stressed out or I was going through a different training camp to where I was putting my body under a lot of stress. That staff would come back and I would have to go back under another case of antibiotics. And usually it was a different antibiotic. Um, it took a very long time for me to totally get rid of that. And I'm not too sure if that played into the injuries or not later on down the road. I mean, I had to fight a guy like Charles Oliveira who just tore my knee apart. I think that maybe would have happened without the staff or with the staff. I don't know, but I'm just saying that it definitely plays a bigger factor than what you would think.
Yeah, no, I definitely think it's been interesting because, like I said, there's been so many guys nowadays that have been coming out with staff. And speaking about that, when you had to like try to go through like the medicals and stuff, I mean, was it hard to kind of like pass everything with that staff?
It, I be talking too much, and
Put you
I
on the
know your
spot.
name is Kevin too, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so so maybe it's just in the genes. Like we be talking a lot and we be saying shit that'll fuck around and get us in trouble. But
Right.
fuck it, it is what it is. It's not too hard to pass medicals. It's not too hard to get much past the commission.
Jeez. All right. All right. Yeah, you just snuck it right past him. It is what it is. Now, another thing about you, man, is you had your restaurant, but it closed down not too long ago. When do you plan to get that open back up in the future? What's going on with it?
Very soon. So
Good.
so after I take my next fight, wherever that comes from, then I'll reopen up the restaurant. My main reasoning is I just didn't want to just take from my customers, right? I just didn't want to take from the people because I would have had to upcharge in order for me to keep my overhead where it needed to be. We outgrew the space that we was in. It just demand got way too big for the small amount of space that I had. So for me to upgrade it, I would have needed to just jack my prices up. And I know people are going through it these days. It's a tough economy out here. So that's not necessarily something that I was willing to do. I'd rather fight first. I'd rather make my money elsewhere, use my own two hands to make the money, and then people can benefit from great food at a great price, right? Like I don't want to. I didn't want to just be one of these people to jack up the price and start charging $80 or something like that for a plate, just to keep the lights on it.
Yeah, no, I definitely respect that. That's definitely pretty cool of you. But in the future, or when it comes to your restaurant, I should say, I mean, what was maybe some of your favorite things that you used to make?
I honestly love making the ribs more than the oxtail, even though the oxtail got a little bit more demand and it was a little more famous. But I love it's something about slow cooking ribs more than anything, and they were like beef ribs too. So it was something real satisfying about that.
Very nice. That's definitely pretty cool. So in the future, let's say hypothetically, we were making some burgers and you made a burger after a fighter. Let's say
Yes,
a Khabib burger, for example. What would maybe be
yes.
on the Khabib burger?
Uh, Cheeseburger for sure.
Uh-huh.
Cheeseburger. No pork, no bacon. No, absolutely not. Um, Maybe beef bacon. Maybe beef bacon. I don't know if you ever had beef bacon on a burger before, but it's actually very very good. So yeah, let's say that. So let's say a beef bacon cheeseburger with a Coca Cola because for some reason he really likes Coca Cola.
There you go. Definitely sounds like a solid thing. Maybe I'm giving you another idea for your restaurant in the future. You never know.
I could have a Khabib burger. I could have a Pettis burger.
Yeah.
I could have a flying the Pettis burger would be a Flying Dutchman. You know what I'm saying? Like a burger on top, burger on the bottom, and then
Yeah.
cheese in the middle. That's the Pettis burger.
No,
Um,
sweet.
yeah, I don't know. We can come up with a couple of them, huh? We can have a John Jones burger, real skinny. Um, you know, we can have a bunch of different ones, I guess.
Yeah, no, that would be pretty cool, man. 100%. And I'm curious about this one. I had Dennis the Menace Bermudez on my show yesterday, and he said when he retired, they took away his fight pass. Now that you're not in the UFC, do you have fight pass? What's going on with that?
Nah, I don't. That that's
Lucky
that
from
is
you.
kind of it is kind of crazy, ain't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. We don't get none of you don't get none of the perks. I don't get to go into the PI no more. Uh,
Whoa.
you know, I had to buy tickets to the Miami show when they
Oh,
came to
come on.
Miami. I had to pay for my own tickets, and they was up in the bleachers. I said, damn, so I don't get no love, huh?
Yeah, that's messed up, dude. And man, speaking
That's
about that
wrong.
kind of speaking about that kind of stuff, I mean, too, when you fought a guy like Edson Barbosa and he kicks so freaking hard, I mean, when you took that head kick, I mean, how bad did that hurt you and stuff? I mean, talk to us a little bit more about that.
Edson is a guy you got to be on your P's and Q's the entire time. Even when he seemed hurt, he's still on you. Getting hit with that kick is kind of like somebody hit you with a hammer on the side of the head. This part of my head was soft for it was like soft like a baby head um for a long time, probably for like 2 years.
Whoa.
Yeah, yes. That's one of the fights and the moments of fighting where you're like, okay, this shit is very real and it's a little scary sometimes. And I don't necessarily know if it's worth the money, but my crazy ass wake up and I do it again the next day and the next day and the next day.
Wow. I mean, big respect to you with that. So you said with it feeling like soft in your head there. I mean, like, how did you recover from that? Did you have to take anything for that? I mean, how'd that kind of work?
I mean, yeah, you just. I would start chewing gum. I realized when I was chewing gum that it would kind of help because it would get my mandible moving, if that makes sense.
Uh-huh.
And it was almost like I was trying to strengthen it around it. But no, I mean, it was like literally soft. Like, I don't know if you ever touched a baby's head before,
Yeah.
but like, how you like their head is softer than a human head. Or I don't know if you ever tried to elbow somebody's skull, but sometimes you can feel it kind of soften up a little bit.
Wow. Wow. No,
I
that's
know it sounds more brutal
yeah.
than it sounds a little brutal when you say it out loud like that, but that's what it is, bro. Like the shit gets soft. It's like it turns to putty.
No, it's like I said, big respect to you, man, 100%. And with you fighting a guy like Edson Barbosa, do you think he was maybe the hardest hitter you faced?
As far as kicks, yes.
Okay.
His kicks were definitely nah. I'm not even gonna say they were the hardest. They were the fastest.
Okay.
He had the fastest kicks that I fought. As far as the hardest hitter, uh, it's hard for me to. I fought Euphrain Escudero. This was years ago. And Euphrain actually hit very hard. I remember like blocking some shots and it hurting my arms. And that doesn't always happen. Jake Matthews also hits pretty hard. He's got a really good right hand. Um, Dos Anjos hits hard. They all hit hard. They all fucking hit hard, bro. Yeah, yeah, they all hit hard. What am I
No.
talking about? Yeah,
Oh, I believe it, man. Like I said, you definitely fought a lot of beasts. Obviously, your resume speaks for itself. And man, when it comes to you, when you're doing the press conferences, I mean, obviously, you used to have a lot of drip, man, with your glasses, your jackets. I mean, how would you kind of, figure out what you were going to wear?
it would just come to me. I and it's funny because me and Keith go back and forth on this. He's cool with having a stylist, right? And I would always do it no stylist. I feel like you just walk into the store and I just let God speak to me, and whatever He say, hey, pick that up. It just that's what's on the shelf these days, and I'm grabbing it off the shelf, and I try and put a couple things together. That's all.
I love it. No, that's definitely pretty cool, man. And obviously, legendary press conference with you calling out Mike Chiesa, and he was like, don't talk about my mom. Did you ever meet Mike Chiesa's mom or anything? Did you ever talk to her?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. She a cool lady. She cool lady. She cool lady. She cool. We buried the hatchet. Me and her mom. Me and his mom. Me and him not so much. He still don't like me for some reason. But me and his mom is cool.
Yeah, no, that's definitely awesome. I'm definitely glad you guys got to bury the hatchet there. And another thing I was curious about is you mentioned, back in your days, the money was kind of getting to your head. You were smoking weed a little bit, but then you kind of dropped it. But when you were
Yeah.
smoking weed, what would you kind of like to do when you were out and about, kind of partying?
Uh, too many things I wasn't supposed to be doing. Um, I think that's definitely something not a lot of people talk about, but I think that is definitely real. Um, I was smoking weed since I was a teenager, right?
Okay.
But I didn't really have any money until I was like 24, maybe 23, 24. Um, and then that just made the problems worse. Like when I was smoke as a teenager, I couldn't smoke every day because I didn't have the money to. So I maybe would do it once in a while or something, but through the week I was training hard. Um, and I think that's why I say it kind of got to my head a little bit because once I had the money and I was able to just okay, I'm gonna just smoke today. I'm gonna smoke every day. I'm gonna smoke 3 times a day. It got too out of control and too out of hand, and I don't care what nobody say. Weed is definitely addictive. You can get addicted to weed for sure. I don't know if you can get physically addicted to it, but I think you can definitely get addicted to the high and to the feeling of it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Um, and I was there for a long time. Probably it weed was harder to kick than anything. Alcohol was the hardest to kick, but weed was definitely pretty hard to kick. And I wish that I had never kind of given into that temptation and just being like, well, I got it. I'm doing great. I'm 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 maintaining at this level of fitness and everything, so it ain't no big deal. I kind of just brush it off. A lot of successful people smoke weed. Like that's kind of what I would always tell myself. I wish I had somebody who was maybe a little older, maybe a little bit more experienced to be like, hey, listen, you can do this and you can still compete at this level and you can still get by, but you could be even better if you didn't. You know what I'm saying? Um, Especially with the drinking. I think drinking more than weed, but that's for another story.
Okay, okay, fair enough. That makes
Yeah.
sense. And when it comes to drinking, I mean, what was maybe some of your go-to drinks you used to like to have?
Dark. I would drink dark.
Okay,
Um, yeah, dark. And my life is 1,000 times better just since I've given it up.
good.
It's been almost 3 years, about 2.5 years. And my life is just infinitely better since not. Uh, I can go the rest of my life without ever being drunk again. Being drunk is the dumbest. That's the dumbest thing in the world. Why I spent so long being drunk, I couldn't tell you.
No, okay, fair enough. So I mean, after a win, I mean, what would you typically do? I mean, was that what you kind of do? Just go out and about like drinking and whatnot?
Pretty much, pretty much. Like a lot of fighters, if you go to Vegas on a weekend of a fight, more than likely, a lot of them you're gonna see in the host in the casino after the fight, celebrating. You know what I mean? Like that's what it is. We live in a life. You just won a big fight. You had spent so much energy and time, and don't get me wrong. Even though I was partying or whatever, I would still get after it in the gym. I was still going hard for the 8 weeks or 10 weeks or however long that I needed to get ready for that fight. And in that comes a lot of pent up, aggression, a lot of pent up stuff. Um, the anxiety of just preparing for the event. Once it was over, it was like, oh, bro, okay, I can finally chill. Like I can do whatever the fuck I want to. And you will see that on any Vegas given night, on a weekend. Go there and see how many fighters and just count how many of them are just drunk on the table or on the floor, especially once like 3 a.m., 4 a.m. roll around.
That's hilarious. That's definitely some funny stuff there. Now, speaking a little bit more about when you were in like the fighter hotels and stuff. I mean, would you ever have like any run-ins with maybe your opponents or just anybody like that? I mean, talk us a bit more about that.
Yeah, I mean, there's psychological warfare, right? And that's definitely just to plug the instructional. That's definitely something that I'm going to get into a lot, because you'll hear it a lot. 90% of the game is mental, right? And psychological warfare starts way before you get into the cage. It starts way before y'all even see each other, right? Um, I've had at it with people's coaches. I've had at it with people's training partners. Um, I would do it on purpose sometimes. Sometimes people would try and do it to me, and I would have to counter. There's a lot of little nuances and stuff when you get two top level guys going against each other and y'all in the same vicinity. I know you in this city. I'm in this city, and it's almost like this. I'm like a dog, right? I'm about to piss all over everywhere that I can, until you tell me to stop. And there's been a lot of. I could go through each fight and tell you at least one or two times in a fighter hotel or during fight week that we've had a little run in, and I did this, I did that, X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. I definitely hear you there when it comes to that stuff. And when it comes to all the people you fought in your career, I mean, who's maybe the one that you maybe dislike the most?
That I dislike, like personally,
Yeah,
or
yeah, in general.
Ally Quinta. Yeah, we don't,
Okay.
we never gonna see eye to eye. We never gonna get along. We just two different type of people. I don't really fuck with the Jersey boy. To this day, I don't like Jersey. Um, Vicente Luque is from Jersey. And I like Vicente, and it don't seem like he from Jersey. I think he was. I don't know what made him go there. Uh, yeah, to this day, I don't fuck with nothing from Jersey.
Fair enough.
Because of Ally and Quinta. Because of Ally and Quinta, I don't fuck with nothing from Jersey. I ain't
fair,
buying the houses from Jersey. I don't care how much money they offer me. Uh, I'm not doing nothing in New Jersey.
fair enough. There you go. Stay out of New Jersey then. I hear you there, man. And another thing is, you're a pretty lucky guy now. You've been on the Crazy Kev show and you've also been on the Joe Rogan show. I mean, when you were on the Joe Rogan show, I mean, what was it kind of like to go on that? What was some behind the scenes stuff that maybe we might not know about?
Joe's a cool dude. It ain't no two ifs about that. Joe's a cool motherfucker. Like Joe is like, I don't know. It just felt like if I had a studio and I had a show, like, and then I just was doing that shit. Like this, like it. I don't know no other way to put it. Sometimes you walk into these big organizations and news channels and shit like that, and you're like, bro, I could never. Like, what is going on here? Like, how did they even? With him, it's just like, bro, it's just the motherfucker is just cool. Like, you can't put it no other way.
Now you keep mentioning you would do these instructionals. I mean, would you ever have like a podcast or anything like that in the future?
I would love to. I don't know what the structure of that would look like. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't really have the if I had the space for it, right? Um, and I think right now in this next phase of life, that's what I'm looking to build. Is to build a space where I could really work out of, where I could maybe have a restaurant, I could have a little studio or gym or something, um, to where I can have my own space, Uh, I, yeah, no, I would love to, but I just don't necessarily had a space for it. I mean, I could sit down with people, I guess, and we just throw a mic on. Um, but I don't even know how to upload it, or I'm not too good with. I feel like a 40-year-old man sometimes, where like some of this shit is very confusing to me, and no matter how much videos I watch and like how much I try and get a handle on it, some of this shit I just can't understand, bro. Like I'm a, I'm a dad now, so I feel like a dad sometimes. Like, bro, I just don't get it.
No, I hear you, man. When it comes to that stuff, it's definitely a pain. You definitely got to keep at it. But yeah, like I said, if you ever
Yeah,
have any questions, I'd be
he's
happy
got,
to.
he's got Jamie, right? I,
Yeah,
I need a Jamie in my life. I need a young Jamie. I need that guy. Um, you really can't do it alone sometimes. So I feel like, yeah, this next phase, I need that.
would your brother Keith help you at all? I mean, would he help you?
I mean, he's giving me tips and tricks and stuff like that, but he's got his own thing going on. He's got his own team, and yeah, 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 it's a lot going on over there. So yeah, I
Yeah,
don't I don't I don't do that too much.
fair enough. No, I hear you when it comes to that stuff. And getting back into training, man. I mean, how have things been going with you in training? Are you training at 100% now?
Yeah, I'm pretty much at 100%. Yeah, it's especially over the last month has really ramped up. Um, yeah, I'm at 100%. I'm not feeling the injuries at all, and now I'm really getting into good shape. So I'm ready to take a fight at any time. So the first fight that comes across my lap, the first contract that's sent to me, I'm signing it. So I think we're in negotiations with a lot of different places right now. And the first one that is serious and gives me a date, gives me an opponent, tells me when to sign up. I'm there.
I like it. Well, we're definitely ready to see that, man. 100%. And getting into training, I mean, who's maybe some of your best training partners that make you the best version of you?
Yeah, I'm at Killcliff FC. So there's a lot of great guys. It's Henry Hoof's team. So, uh, honestly, a lot of the young Russians, they're the ones that, and forgive me for not saying no names because a lot of them are Russian. so, so yeah. Uh, but they're the ones that kind of got that oomph, got that fire, and they kind of bring it out of me. So yeah, I enjoy training with a lot of the Dagestani, and a lot of the Russians for sure.
Well, good. I'm definitely glad they're helping you out, man. That was actually something that someone wanted me to ask you if you were training with any of those Russians or Dagestani guys. So I'm definitely glad that you're able to do that. And
Yeah,
when it
it's a
comes
lot of
to,
fun.
yeah, man, that's definitely awesome. And when it comes to training, I mean, what's maybe some of your favorite training memories that you might have had?
My favorite training memories.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, Honestly, I got a lot of great memories from going up to Canada. Um, I got a lot of great memories from back at Extreme. Uh, I got a lot of great memories with Faraz Hobby. A lot of great memories with Dewey Cooper. Um, Honestly, it's kind of like the old cliche of martial arts. It's really about traveling the world and just training and just meeting these new people. So many people in MMA are just such interesting people and interesting characters, especially at the high levels of people who have been around for years after years after years after years. When you talk about guys like Faraz Hobby, who's been doing this since fucking like 2001 or something like that. Um, it's like he just got such a depth of knowledge. Like you could sit and pick his brain all day. It's incredible. Um, yeah, I say traveling to all the different cities that I've been to and just training with such high level people. Rufus Sport, TriStar, Extreme Couture, Dewey Cooper, and then down here, Killcliff. Even this whole, I've been here for 2 years now, and the people here are dope. Is a Jason Stroud, Henry Hoof, is such a it's a real depth of knowledge here too. So, um, yeah, it's definitely travel the world, train martial arts, make some money, keep studying. That seems to kind of be the life.
I love it. No, that's definitely awesome. I'm definitely glad you've been living it up. And when it comes to meeting some people that are pretty interesting, I mean, who do you think is maybe the most interesting fighter or maybe coach that you might have met along in your journey?
It's fun. I don't know because it's so many different ways you could take that, right? Interesting as far as the smartest person is probably Faraz Hobby that
Okay.
I've met in terms of you can ask him like a very 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 deep psychological question or a very very deep physical you know just a very deep question, and he'll have like a very insightful type of answer to you. But then there's some dudes that are just fucking funny, and you bring up like the most random shit to them, and they can just spew it off, or I don't know. There's like I said, you could take that so many ways, right?
Oh
So
yeah.
uh, Dewey is very a fucking interesting character, and he's somebody who's got like stories for days. You know what I mean? Like he's got stories of his boys doing this, his boys doing that, them doing this. Is super super interesting.
Yeah, no, that's definitely awesome. Man. Like MMA is definitely a pretty cool sport, 100% when it comes to that kind of thing. And
Yeah.
one thing about me is I'm a Taekwondo instructor. I've been teaching for 6 years now, and I've been training for 19 years. So I started when I was 5 years old. So I love martial arts, man. And with all the guys that got in my gym, what advice do you give to them to keep on coming into the gym and to get better and better every day?
So do you still train people in Taekwondo
Yes, sir. Yeah, do it right now at the moment.
to this day? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. Taekwondo's in a weird spot, huh? Because
Yeah.
because now that they made those changes to the rules, and I don't know. Like the last Olympics was kind of weird. Watching them in Taekwondo,
Yeah, I'm glad you said that.
it was like a little more weird than the ones that I've watched in the past. So I don't know if it's going in the right direction. To be
Yeah, I
honest
know.
with you.
I hear you when it comes to that.
Yeah, we need people like you that's going, kind of keep these, let's keep it practical. You know what I mean? Um, but as far as like advice that I have for them is just to keep fighting, open your mind to all the different possibilities. One thing about martial arts is there's no right answer. There's no right way to do anything. There's no one way to do anything. I think I've been around a lot of trainers, right, and a lot of instructors and stuff, and sometimes they kind of almost want to they want to like show you value a little too much, where they correct things that don't necessarily need to be corrected, um, or they'll input something that didn't necessarily need that input, but it's because they want to like show you that they're needed almost. Um, and I'm not saying this on you. I, I'm an instructor myself now, so I'm just saying it out loud. Is you almost kind of just need people to let people be free. you know. So as far as the students, be free, learn as much as you can, take in what you need to, get rid of what you don't need to, and keep your mind open to all the possibilities of martial arts.
Yeah, I definitely think that's a pretty solid message, 100%, man. And one last thing I want to ask you about as well, too. I mean, I'm actually just coming off my third shoulder surgery. I'm only 24, so I just got my third one now. When it comes to that, I mean, how do you kind of stay positive when you kind of have these injuries? And, when it comes to training again, I mean, what's kind of the nerves like to kind of go 100% again after dealing with injuries?
Yeah, it's funny because I was just talking with Vicente Luque this morning about that, right?
Yeah,
And I told him I was like, man, I feel so good now that I barely feel the knee injury, right?
good.
There was a time there a few months ago where I was like, bro, I don't know if I'll ever be able to move the same. Like I literally don't know if I'll ever feel the same as what I felt when I was, younger, before I had the surgery. And people overlook that. People overlook surgeries when they slice you open, bro. It's a whole different fucking ball game to
I know.
any other type of injury I've ever had in my life. Um, it takes time. It definitely takes time. There's no amount of there's no amount of physical therapy that you can do that will overcome the time that it takes to heal from the injury. Like as many people as I speak to, that's the only thing they tell me, bro. It's gonna take fucking a long time. Um, as far as getting back from it, I'd say you just have to keep your mentality on the straight path. Keep your mind to where you need it to go, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, sometimes you know you can do something, and you know you can move this way, but your body just won't do it or can't do it. So you almost kind of like be like, man, fuck it, I don't even want to do it no more. You know what I mean? Like, fuck it. And I've seen that break a lot of people. And halfway through the surgery, it could have broke me. I there's been many nights. I'm not even going bullshit you. There's been some nights where I'm like, bro, maybe I should just get this shit up and go get a job and just do something else. um I can see why people fall into that trap. I can see why there's that kind of that cliche of a guy who was a star football player, hurt his knee, and then kind of tell stories years later like, bro, if I wouldn't have hurt my knee, I would have been this, didn't that. I think a lot of it comes down to your mentality and the mental side of it. The mental side of it is very, very difficult to overcome. Um, and it just takes time. It takes time. And one day you'll wake up and you'll be like, bro, I don't even feel it no more. Like it's weird. Like I don't even feel it. A couple months ago, it was the biggest thing in my life that had to overcome. And now I don't even feel it. Like now it's like it's a distant memory. So yeah, I say one day if you keep the straight path, if you keep your mind on it, one day you'll wake up and it'll be like, oh, this shit never happened. It'll feel like a bad dream.
Yeah, no, that's definitely some awesome advice, man. It's definitely good to know. And like I said, I just got to keep grinding with my physical therapy at the moment, and hopefully I can be back in the swing of things. And yeah, man, thank you so much for coming on the show. It means a lot to me. And Kevin, what's maybe your final message out there for the fans watching this video?
Stay tuned. Stay tuned to the instructional. Stay tuned to everything that I got going on. I feel like there's a lot of big things on the horizon. I feel like I'm nearing a breakthrough. Um, yeah, just stay tuned. Yeah, I'm only 31 years old. A lot of these guys that's on the top of the sport are 34, 35. So I got a lot of good years ahead of me, and I'm gonna make sure I make the best of them.
Yeah, and we're looking forward to you making the best of everything, man. And best of luck with that instructional, and hopefully getting a fight soon, my man. And again, thank you so much for taking the time coming on the show. It means a lot to me. And need any help with anything like Twitter or whatever you're trying to do, like I said, always hit me up. I'm here to help you.
My dog, appreciate it, Kevin.
You're the man. All right, stay in touch. Thank you once again for taking the time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.